Andrew's Aaron here too, just you, Andrew. Andrew. Really, this would be just like a long lecture without the band, right? It would be tough. I mean, we all love liturgy, but it still would be tough. Also, my friend Rachel is here, and I met her a few months ago, and we were hanging out, and I was emceeing, you know, I was spitting some of my written raps, and you know, I got fire, like I got rap, you know, I really can. I mean, I don't mean that braggadocious, but I can do that, you know, that's something I do, and she's a great poet, you know, and so I did my thing, you know, and then she did her thing, and I was like, wow, you know, and she really. You know, so gratitude for you coming, and it made me think about this community, you know, where I'm sensitive to, you know, vibe, energy, spirit, whatever you want to call it, you know. So I sit and I feel, you know, the energy move through the synagogue, and then it gets, it's always unique. Every week you can't tell, you know, what services are going to be like, but it always warms up, you know. The community knows how to make fire well, Beit Tshuva, so I'm grateful for the fire that Beit Tshuva makes. So we had Susanna Heschel, speaking of people that know how to make fire, we had Susanna Heschel here this week, which was also, like Rabbi said, a real privilege for me, a really amazing moment. And in the evening lecture, she said this one thing that, you know, 4 people commented on because they had a hard time with it. And so it was obviously, it was conflicting, it was controversial maybe, I'm not sure. But, you know, what she talked about was, you know, Abraham, she talked about her dad a lot, right? Which is, she's a pretty humble person to, you know, spend half your life talking about your dad. That's tough, right? So I appreciate it. She seemed to enjoy it. She didn't seem to mind, but, you know. So she was talking about her father. Her father, I've never met him. But I have to tell you, from his writings, from what she said, from just my connection to the spirit that was Abraham Joshua Heschel, was a holy man. For sure, a holy man. I don't doubt it, you know. And I doubt a lot. And she talked about when her father would daven, when her father would pray, and then when he would leave the synagogue, he was unsatisfied, right? And he would reflect inside of himself, and he would see the things that he needed to be and the things that he needed to do. And he thought that that's what prayer should do. Prayer should make you, or we, as we say, or as he says actually, disturbed. It should disturb you. You should connect to your soul and your spirit, and the soul and spirits of others. You should see that the world is broken. You should be disturbed when you leave the synagogue. Okay? 4 people, at least, said, well, wait. I mean, for good reason. This was not, you know, out of nowhere. Wait a minute. I want to go to synagogue and feel good. Right? I come to synagogue to feel fulfilled, to feel satisfied. I'm self-critical all the time, you know. Somebody else commented, I'm an addict. And I have a disease of being self-critical, so I have to be careful of that, you know. And I thought it was an interesting conversation, a back and forth of trying to decide whether we're human beings trying to be satisfied or human beings reaching, or both, you know. And I'm not sure about it. But I was thinking about Abraham Joshua Heschel, who was a holy man, and how he wanted to be dissatisfied after he left the shul. And I started thinking, well, okay, he's a holy man. Well, what is holiness? What does it mean to be holy? And in this parsha, we're commanded to be holy for God. It's a weird word. I mean, I'm just up here kind of talking, but let's stop for a second and think about the word holy and go, what does this word mean? If I say, I want you to be holy for God, right? I want you to be holy for God. What in his name does that mean? To be holy. Right? It's hard to actually figure that out. I mean, Bob has spent 97 lifetimes. He doesn't even, not going there, right? So I was looking at this one piece in Isaiah 6:5. And it says, this is when Isaiah had his vision. I beheld my Lord, God, seated on a high and lofty throne. So imagine this. Isaiah has this vision. God seated on a lofty throne. The skirts of God's robe filled the temple. You ever seen the movie The Cell? Yeah, right. Like that. Okay. Seraphs stood in attendance on him. Each of the seraphs had 6 wings. This was the vision, right? God on a throne. Seraphs with 6 wings. With 2, the seraphs covered their face. With 2, they covered their legs. And with 2, they would fly. And then it says, V'kara V'kara ze el ze v'amar. And one would call to the other. So just picture this. There are these angels surrounding God on a throne, and the angels are calling to each other back and forth. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Adonai tzvaot melo chol haaretz kevodo. Holy, holy, holy. The Lord of hosts. His presence fills all the land, or all the world. So these angels, they're there. What is this word? They're screaming back and forth to each other. Holy, holy, holy is God. Why are they doing this? And I can only imagine that they're angels and that they're compelled by the sight and in the presence of God to sing these words, which we sing in our liturgy. Holy, holy, holy. They're compelled in a moment of ecstasy, in a moment of glory, in a moment beyond ecstasy, in a moment beyond glory, in a moment beyond hope, in a moment far beyond understanding, to start singing this word, Kadosh, holy. So what does it mean for us? Really tough to deconstruct and unpack. So let's not deconstruct and unpack it. Let's think about it. Let's search our innermost selves. And I guess what struck me is that when I read the word holy and I tried to define it, I couldn't do it. I couldn't define that word holy. But I did know what holy was. I did know what it was, even though I couldn't put it into words. And in fact, I actually think we use the word all the time, and people know what we mean when we say it. Right? We know when we're not being holy. Right, Sam? Right? When we're being profane, or when we're being mundane, right? When something is ordinary, or when something is going against holy, we know when we're not. And we also sometimes can sense when we feel holiness in our lives, right? That's pretty unbelievable. It's this thing that we don't understand, but it is this thing that we experience that's so close to us. And I have to say, in this little conversation about dissatisfaction around prayer, I'm on the side of dissatisfaction. And I think, in fact, it's a little weird, we'll have to think about it, but that what it means to be holy means that there is possibility inside of you. There's still more to go. So what it means to be holy, it means that you're not yet complete. There is still possibility. But possibility for what? Well, it's obvious that it's possibility for holiness. Shabbat Shalom.